Hey guys, Nicky from Strictly Broken here, doing a deck profile on a pretty different deck review list that I used this weekend at BCS Houston. I did end up getting second place, only losing in the finals. I went undefeated in Swiss, one top 8, one top 4, but I ended up losing in finals against Gold Paladin. But even though it did lose, it did get second. I definitely think it's like one of the best decks this format. So if you are looking to do well at like later BCSs, I definitely think this is the deck to play. Alright, let's get on with the deck profile. Alright, for second place, I got this really nice medallion. And I got this really nice top 8 map. Has all the progenitor strides on it. I hope you can see it all. But let's get on with this deck profile. So with my starter, I ran Assassin. So a lot of people, I guess, run the draw starter, but I wanted to get her every single game, and the most consistent way of getting her every single game was just having her as a starter. So that was really easy. I didn't really need, like, the draw early was nice, but like having her every game was very important. And you do have to remember that she is not GB. The only requirement she does have darkness, and you do have 10 in soul. That is it. So if you're on like grade 1, grade 2, and you have 10 soul, you can bring her out and just start aggroing them. But most of the time, I just brung her out when I was at grade 3. Sorry. And then I ran 4 heals. Now, one thing to note during the event is I think I only G-guarded once, like the whole event, which is pretty crazy. But it's not, I guess not for this deck, because usually I just win for stride, or I don't even get to stride, or like I go back to grade 2, so I can't even G-guard. With the fact that it's a 20k like defense, like early game, and ends a heal day. Like I really need the defense just so I can get to that stride turn. So for PG, so again, just need the defense. It being a PG and a draw trigger, really nice. Like you need to draw into your pieces, and you need like PGs to survive, just so you can get to your stride turn. Next, I ran 4 monochrome. So her effect was like the main reason I ran her. This deck doesn't have consistent way, I guess, of counter charging. So this is like the way, like this is another like just counter charger in the deck. So and not only does she counter charge, but she goes back into the deck and she replaces herself. So her replacing herself is really important, because it's basically like a draw one if you switch her off Burfist or something, and you unflip. So and if you get a stand like in the middle of your combo, that's pretty nice. Like if you like restand like a fat card that like gain a bunch of power off Castile, pretty nice. So yeah. And then I ran 4 critical triggers. Now I mostly ran this not because it was critical, and not even because of its effect. I only ran this because it's a 15k shield. Like you just need to have that guard early, so you can just live to that later turns and just win. Now, it being like a crit helped in some games. Like I randomly like would drive check it like 1 crit, and I would just deal an extra damage for no reason. So that was nice, but it's not needed. You know, you don't need that extra damage because you have so much defense and you have so much like aggression here. But it being a 15k, that's it. Yeah, you can literally just run the vanilla. I probably should have ran the vanilla because it was a 5k, and this is a 4k, but you really just never use the effect because you want a full board with NLK. So that's it with my grade 0s. For my grade 1s, I ran 4 Yellow Bolt. Now I ran the new Yellow Bolt instead of the old Yellow Bolt, just because like this is a 10k beater, and this can like swing on rear, become like a 13k, and it can soul charge, so it can give my front row an extra 3k. While the old Yellow Bolt is, I think it's a 6 or 7k. I think it's a 7K. And it has to like tap itself, so you're losing out on power, you're losing out on like 3K, because you're getting the 3K from Castile. But this will just give the front row 3K if you attack. And also it's just a good like beat stick, like early on, like if you're getting aggroed grade 2, you can like have this swing at a grade 2, and not only does it soul charge, but like it pokes them at the grade 2. And it's when you ride over it, you can plus you soul charge too, and if you soul charge the trigger, you draw. So it's nice having that like small amount of draw early. Let's see, for my next grade 1, I ran 4 Variance Killer Tail. So what she does is you can either soul charge from the damage or drop, and if you have 3 or more in the soul, if you soul charge from the damage specifically, you counter charge and you restand itself. So it's basically like you never used it. But so and the main reason why I run her is because you can soul charge from either the damage or drop. You don't have to like, so whatever you need in the drop, you can soul charge. If you damage something like an NOK or like Master Fifth or something that you need, like you can just soul charge it. And it's a good counter charge engine, because this deck does like need some counter charge, especially if your opponent starts like 0 damaging or something, or like low damaging. So yeah. And then for my next grade 1, it kind of works out with her because she can soul charge from drop. This is a Dimension Creeper. Everyone kind of knows what he does. He soul blasts him out, soul charge too. So the main reason why I ran him over new Dimension Creeper in Standard is because the new one goes to the bottom of the deck, and it counterblasts. So I really need my counterblast, and the fact that it goes to the bottom of the deck is like not good at all, because 2 cards in this deck have to get him from drop or damage, but mostly from drop. So he's like the main target, because if you just have 1 in soul, you can like loop him back with her. So the fact that like he goes to drop is like really important. And yeah, he doesn't use counterblast. So that was it for my grade 1s. Only 12 grade 1s, so yeah. Fort Berthren, he's the other card I can get Dimension Creeper for my drop with. Now, to be honest, like he's a pretty mediocre card. Dark regulars don't have that many cards that soul charge early on. They have like a Werewolf Seeger, but that only works on the Vanguard circle, and I need something that like works anywhere. So this is like your next best bet, and it's not bad either. It can get Dimension Creeper and get other cards, so it's nice selective soul charging. For my next grade 2, I ran 4 Emblem Master. Now he is a like very key card. He is why this deck got way better. So what he does is you choose one of your, or you don't have to choose, but you soul charge up to 3 of 1 unit on your board. So your Vanguard circle or anything, even your guard, but that actually doesn't matter. So so yeah, you soul charge anything on your board. So if you have a D Creeper out, you soul charge 3 from your deck, or drop. Remember that. Like a lot of people were surprised that soul charges from drop too. You can also soul charge her, and he helps her get live for the counter charging, and so that's really important too, because you want to be counter charging very early. And so what he also does is he also gains 5k shield and power when you have 7 or more soul. That's just a continuous effect. So on the board, he's a 14k beast stick on both players' turns, and a lot of people did not know that. So yeah, just be aware of that. And he's a 10k shield, like if you go from your hand or even intercept. So that's crazy. And then for my next card, there's a pretty spicy card. I ran 3 Rhodia. So what she does, as you notice, she's a 5k, but she gains 1k for every card in my soul on both players' turns. A lot of people did not know that. So later in the game, if you ride her off of NLK, you can become like a 27, 33k base, and that's like really important because a lot of decks can't hit over that. And also early game, she can be really good for like, she can help you win the grade 2 game, and that's really important because you either wanna You either need to wait like a turn or two on the grade 2 just so you can get 13 soul with NLK, so you can like pop off on them, or you just want to wait for your first stride, because you never want your opponent first striding on you, of course. So if you ride her, you can easily get her to like 12, 14, 17, 19, like after a while. And after a while, you're just gonna start winning the grade 2 game because they cannot hit over this like fat beat stick. And also one thing to note is she's a 10k shield unlike other grade 2s. So yeah, I don't know why she's 10k shield. Pretty crazy but yeah. Alright, that was it for my grade 2s. That was 11 grade 2s. And then for my grade 3s, I'm running 4 No Life Healing, the main card of the deck, why this deck exists. So what he does is I put 3 units in soul and 1 from hand, of course, and and I reread any card from my soul, any card. So it doesn't have to be a grade 3. It could be usually the target is her, or one of these grade 3s. I'll show them now, but I'll explain them in a second. Or sorry, it's not him. It's these 4 are like my main rides with NLK, and I'll explain these two in a sec. But yeah, and he also does get 2k for every card in my soul, so that's really nice. He comes really fat, and whatever I ride after gains a crit. So after you use this card, you're swinging with a crit every time. But you'll see later why how all my Vanguard swung with a crit due to Rufus. Yeah. And the main combo, I guess I should explain this now. The main combo with Assassin and NLK is, so if you have a full board, let's say you already have like 13 soul, this is your Vanguard, these are your rears, just making stuff up. So the main combo is like swing, here, let's pretend something else is here. Swing, like with a boost, let's pretend like these cards are actual rears. Swing, swing. If you have like 14 soul, you can even call this out and like swing. Or if you have like a lot more soul, you can call it and it becomes a 20. Or if you only have 14, it's a 10k. So you might want to save the boost or something. So that's like 3 attacks so far. Swing. Use the effect at the end of battle. Put 3 to soul. 1 card from your hand. You rewrite. You want to rewrite NLK. As long if you have 2 open counterblocks, so and then you want to call Assassin either here or here. If they got a damage trigger, you might want to call it here, but if they didn't, then this is swinging for 20, because at this point you have over 15 soul. And then you swing for 20, and then you swing. It's pretty fat with a crit, and then you want to use this effect again. Put 3 to soul. And at this point, you either ride himself, you ride her, him, or him. It depends on the situation, honestly. It's all like I can't really explain that for you because like I did have to like decide on the spot, but you just have to like deduct from what you've seen in your opponent's drive checks, what you've seen in your opponent's damage and drop zone. And you do have to just decide that for yourself. Like, if you think you can't win with that last attack, then she's really good. If you think you can win, but with multiple attacks, like you're 100% gonna win if you do attack, like a lot of heals were shown already, then he might be good. Or he might be good if you just think like you might be able to win, but you still want to keep your hand because he makes you lose your own hand. And but if your opponent's at grade 2 and you're doing this whole combo, because remember, this does not require any GB, or it doesn't require your opponent to be at grade 3. So you can even do this when you're at grade 2, when your opponent's at grade 2. So if your opponent's at grade 2, I would definitely tell you to ride this, because that means they can't stride, and you just did like a full crazy combo when they were at grade 2, and now they can't even stride. They're just stuck there. So, and you just do the whole thing next turn again. So yeah, that's like the main combo. And even after like you ride and you have no field, you can either call it again and attack. So that's even one more attack. Alright, so let's explain these other grade 3s. So I ran 3 Rufus, And so what he does is he basically toolboxes any card in my deck. So what he does is I can search for any card that I have in my soul, and I put the rest in. I put one of them into my hand and the rest in my soul. So let's say I have like an Emblem Master. Let's say like this was in my soul. I could search for an Emblem Master, Ruthven, or Decreeper. Like if they're not all four of them in my deck, of course. And she also like works out. He also works out with her, of course, because you can search for the other 3 copies, add one of them to hand, the rest is soul. So that means you're gonna get 3 in soul and 1 in hand, just to start counter charging. So he's nice that he just toolboxes all that. He also just swings with a crit every turn, but I don't usually ride this card. I only ever just copy him with Get Steal, and I will show that later. So that's the only time I use this. I never ever ride this card unless I really have to. I think I ended up riding it in finals, but yeah. Also, one thing to note is if the card is not in your soul, like the thing you're searching, you cannot get it. So let's say you have all this in your soul, but there's no I don't know, there's no yellow bolt in the soul, right? You cannot like just put yellow bolt in your soul with this card, at least. You have to have the card in, or you have to have the card in your soul to either put it or add it to your hand. So that's one thing important to know, just because of its wording. So that's that, and then I ran 2 Hope Bond down. So what he does is when he's placed, he's like a really awkward guard restrict, and so what he makes your opponent guard with increments of 20. And that's like really weird, especially in like premium, because a lot of people run like 5Ks, like old cards, like for example like old Huels, like Crimsons, or just like weird stuff like that. Or even in like if people run like standard stuff, they have like a lot of 10K and 15K shields, but they don't have like a lot of 5K shields. But what he does, he makes your opponent guard with increments of 20. So either 1 20K, one like a 15 and a 5, 4 5Ks, or 2 10Ks. So as long as it adds up to 20. And remember, if he wants a PG is 0, it counts as 0, so he does have to drop that other stuff. But it does not affect G guards and intercepts. Anything that's not called from hand, it doesn't affect. So yeah, but if you have this and you're going like full combo, it's pretty much game. There's like almost no way your opponent can come back from that. And yeah, so like once you proc him off, it's game. But usually I just rode him on the last ride of my last activation of LK, so on my very last attack, and I would just like get my opponent, because if let's say like your opponent's at like 20, 22, and because you're gonna be swinging for 32, because you have assassin booster, so that's like what you're swinging with. And let's say your opponent got a trigger and they don't have like that many cards in hand, so it does make them like you either have to drop like way over guard, you have to drop 40k and go to like a lot more than they have to, or they have to just drop a 20k and a 4-1 to pass. And that's pretty risky, to be honest, because this will have a crit from it. So, but yeah, if you do end up getting this before you start your full combo, it's pretty much game. And then for my last grade 3, I ran Master of Fifth Element. So most people, most DI decks focus on this card and just like doing a full combo and then riding Master of Fifth. But it just resends like Doreen. It runs like Doreens, and it just resends your like front row that are like 100k. So it's pretty crazy. But I really think that like variant is like glass cannon. Like it can, it definitely does like so much damage, and it like attacks for so much power. But I feel like if your opponent like heals or double heals, like, and I know how unlikely that sounds, but I just like in an A-Rod tournament with a top 8, it's definitely not impossible, and I definitely think about all that stuff. So me losing my whole hand, like, I really don't like that. With this variant, what makes this variant different from the OTK variant, even though this deck OTK is, but like the Master of Fifth OTK, was I keep my hand. like I keep all the protect markers, I keep all that stuff, and I can like definitely like survive the next turn if I don't live, and I definitely have survived the next turn, especially with rodeo. So what he does is you soul blast at least 15, but you soul blast your whole soul, so you have no more soul after that. So you pretty much given up on like using soul after that, and you discard your whole hand, and you resend your full board. So after he uses effect, after the turn, you should have 4 cards in hand because you're twin driving twice. But he is good if you really think that you're it's gonna be the last like attacks. Like if you swing, it's just gonna be a game because you're swinging twice, and it's really hard to come back from that. Swinging twice with a crit, of course, and yeah. And also run them just in case I did need to do the OTK variant. There has come some times where I only had like 1 counterblast, and I just have to do this, and it's pretty much game if you do that. But I just don't like discarding my whole line. That's it. But you definitely can ride him after the second NLK and just swing for 32, like twice. And I've definitely done that before, and it's pretty much just game. Moving on with the strides. First, let me explain with the markers, I guess. So I went with Protect 1 the whole tournament, but if you think you're going to win that turn, definitely go Protect 2, because it does help the assassin hit over those increments of like of 20 and 23 and 22, just because if your opponent damage checks, you can call the assassin to one of these and it becomes 25. So you want to hitting over those like weird increments. But the whole tournament I went to Protect 1. Yeah, I just didn't want to like have them heal a bunch of times. So I guess, yeah, it was just a safe option for me, but it worked out. Protect 1 is definitely the way to go if you don't think you're gonna win that turn. So yeah. Let's see. Then for my strides, I ran 2 Gastille. So he's I guess your main stride of the deck. You pretty much only go into 2 strides in the deck. Everything else is situational. So what he does is for every card you soul charge, you give your front row 3k. So you can make your front row pretty fat. And I think the fattest I've gone up to is 57. And yeah, it was pretty like big. And you just like pump up your front row, and you just attack a million times. But not with your like front row. You get rid of your front row, but it makes your first like 3 attacks like insanely big. And what he does also is that he also copies 2 cards. So that's how I pop off with this try. Is you just copy NOK, and where is he? You just copy NOK, and you basically have NOK on a stride, and you just do that full combo I showed you earlier with your stride, and you have like your front row getting a bunch of power. But what you also copy is Brufus, so you have like a toolboxing card and a resetting Vanguard. And but what's also really important is you also get the gain, like the retire and gain a crit effect. So so that means every Vanguard attack you will have will attack with a crit. So that's really important because you want to deal as much damage as possible on your final turn. And it just makes it so if your opponent doesn't have a PG, then they have to just drop a million or take the 2. And that's really important. And also get rid of like interceptors and just pesky cards on the board. So it's really nice to have just a card that really retires. And then for my next strides, I ran 2 Bellum. I didn't go into him the whole event, but he is there in case I can't like use NOK at all for some reason, and I just won't need card advantage. If I'm just like really behind in the game, I need card advantage, just need a quad drive. But yeah, again, I never go into him. I ran 4 Blittermouth. Now this is the other card I did actually go into, and this is your like pretty much second stride you're ever gonna go into. So you only really need to run 2, but since I have so much room in this deck, you can just run 4. It doesn't really hurt you at all. And so what he does is he puts all the zeros from your soul and on board into deck. So basically, after you do your full combo, and you have like a couple cards left in your deck, it basically puts all triggers left in your deck. And it's crazy because like if your opponent probably used all their PGs like on your full combo turn, like to live. So if you're going into this, they probably have 0 PGs, and when you swing with this, they pretty much have to know past it, or you're just triple checking triggers. And so he's just really good. So yeah, if you don't kill him on your combo for some reason, you have this, pull all your triggers back. And then for my, so I run Seabreeze, situational, never went into him. I don't think I ever see myself going into him, but I had so much room in the deck that you might as well, you know, you never know. You never will know when it come up. Seabreeze is definitely not dead in premium. You definitely use it, but it's just not in this deck, just because NOK exists and you like can use that early in, so you don't really need to go into here. Also very situational is Dust. I never went into them, and also even in testing I've never gone into them. But one like thing that you can do is if you are on like like you rode Rhodia off of NOK and you have no more grade 3s in the deck or in your hand, you can ultimate stride by just ditching her, and you can stride again on grade 2. So that's really important to know. Now, I never ended up doing that play, but having that play as an option always helped. So, yeah. I ran the Progenitor Dragon for the Dark Zone. So he, again, very situational. I don't think I ever went into him at all. But the fact that he gives free strides is really important because, again, you start running out of 3s really fast because you do soul charge with like a bunch. So if you soul charge like all your 3s with Castillo or like damage check them, then you're pretty much like effed because like, you can't stride anymore, or you can't like ride and stride if you went to Rhodia. But as long as like you don't get like hella unlucky and you don't soul charge all your grade 3s, you should be fine. But I only use them if I was behind and I didn't have like the counter blast to pop off. I would just go into him. But you also have to like discard a card with the same name, so it doesn't happen very often. But yeah. But like again, I never went to them the whole event. So moving on with my G guards. Well, like I said, I did only G guard once the whole tournament. So like use that to your you know, use that information to your own. But I ran one flipping G guard, very situational. I only ran it because it could gain like a bunch of power if I needed it to. It does soul charge one, but it also can like unflip. So in case I need to like have 3 face up for Dust, because all you need is 3 face up. You don't need to be on grade 3 or anything. So if I needed to, but to G guard you do have to be on grade 3. So that's why I didn't G guard that much, because I was on grade 2. So you can't G guard if I'm on grade 2. Your opponent can't G guard if I'm on grade 2 and they're on grade 3. So just remember that. But yeah, I rarely went to this. Only you ran it because it was fat. Ran one of this. Only ran it because like maybe against Ezel, my Vanguard becomes like a 17k base and all their rear guards can't hit. But I'm pretty sure it only works on the Vanguard attack. Yeah, it only works on the Vanguard attack, so it can't use it against your rear. So that's really important to remember. But that's some important information to remember. But I did not use this at all. So this, in case you just need more soul, sometimes it's not. You can't hit that 13 soul immediately, like if you work really hard. So she's pretty good with that. But again, did not go into her. Now the G guard I did go into was her. And I think I just went into her just like because I could. I think the 20k, like I could have just dropped the heal and it would have been enough, but it didn't really matter, to be honest. Now what she does is she gets 10k if you have 8 or more soul. So she's pretty much like a 25k guard every time. So that's it. So that was it for my G-Zone. And that's it for my deck profile. It's a pretty spicy list. I definitely think that this deck I definitely think this is like the best deck of the format right now, like better than Ezel, better than Neo Nectar or Luard. So if you are trying to do well, you're your next BCSs, I definitely think you should use this bag. Try it out, you know. Try maybe like variants hard leg, you know, the grade 2, the other guard restrict. I tried that out. I didn't really like work for me just because it was a little too slow. And yeah, just like, you know, mix around the ratios. But I'm not gonna say that the like Master of Fifth element OTK is like bad. It's definitely like a good deck, but I definitely think this is like better because you do keep your hand, and that's like really important. So yeah. So I just want to give shoutouts to the Strictly Broken team. Everyone is like great and amazing. So far, this is our 6th top this season, which is pretty crazy. We have like a first. This is a 2nd place, and like 2/3 and 2/4. So yeah, I'll probably see you at Worlds. I don't know. It depends on my situation there. But yeah, but the next event you'll see me at is Care Expo in Anaheim. Yeah, I'll be there, so don't be scared to say hi. I'll definitely be there. I just want to give a quick shout out to John Shaden. He helped me with his spice. Another shout out to Lolly Squad and Hank Quang. So sorry if I like butchered your last name. He was the person I fought in finals. He's a really good player. Definitely deserves a win for that in that finals. He's an amazing player. I think he got 2nd at Worlds like 2 years ago. So he's a really like well-known player. And he also got like 3rd this past season too in like standard. So shout outs to him. Great opponent. I can't wait to like see you at Worlds maybe if I go. And shout out to my local game stores, Core TCG and the Blackstone now. Great stores, check them out. But yeah, do check out Strictly Broken TCG, the website, and for your white singles and Vanguard, and yeah. Alright, and that's it for my deck pro. See you later.